Sometimes I get this need to embrace my roots. Here in this channel, we're all about anime games, Japanese culture, but where I come from, there's one type of entertainment that gets the people roaring. That's football. We have the best player in the world. You can call it soccer if you want. I honestly don't care what you call it, as long as we all know what sport we're talking about. Now, it is a beautiful day when these two things come together. Anime games and football. And if you're anything like me, you're gonna be pretty excited about the new Inazuma 11 game. Now, I'm not a big fan of sports anime, or so I thought, until I watched Haikyuu. I don't even care about volleyball, but I watched it, I loved it, and I can't wait to watch more. And that got me thinking, hold up. Maybe I do like sports anime. So I watched the beginning of Inazuma 11 and oh my god, it is a slow anime. I just cannot get into it. Maybe it's just not an anime for me. It feels like an anime made for younger people, which if you like, don't be offended. I'm just an old guy. But regardless, I was very interested in the new Inazuma 11 game, and that's what I'm here to talk to you guys about. I'm gonna give you some of the basics on how this game works, and then you can decide whether you want to be excited about it or not. I got reasons why you should be, and I got other reasons that maybe are signs pointing towards doom. And not the good kind of doom, if you know what I'm saying. Alright, so this is part RPG, part football game. You'll take control of the main character and you can explore the world, talk to people, and I assume there will be quests. There hasn't been a lot of gameplay outside the field now that I think about it. But yes, there is stuff to do, there is story. It's not just a football game. It's not just, hey, we're competing with FIFA now. No, it's a different game, and this is played in and outside the field. Even inside the field, the game is kind of unique. You run around, you pass the ball in real time, but then when you run into an opponent, the game kind of stops and you have different options. It's a bit rock, paper, scissors meets turn-based RPG. You can try to dribble to the left or to the right, you can throw special moves, and it's all a stats game. For instance, if you shoot the ball, that shot has a certain strength, so the goalkeeper has to match it in order to make the save. So this is a mix that I definitely find appealing. There are a bunch of teams already announced that I'm sure is exciting to fans of the series. I have no idea who these guys are. So on paper, it all seems great, but this game is going through some trouble. December of last year, the CEO of Level 5, the developer behind the game, spoke out about the game being constantly delayed. Originally, the game was meant to come out alongside the FIFA World Cup 2018. That was June of last year. The game was delayed several times, with the most recent release date being May of 2019. But it seems that May will not be enough time to get the game finished. The game has no release date at the moment, but Level 5 has already confirmed that it won't make it before May. And since there were so many delays, the CEOs shared some details on what's been happening, which, to be honest, was the right thing to do, but it paints a picture of a very troubled development team. To quote the translation from NintendoEverything.com, the game has always been in development internally, but due to a lack of time, it was decided to enlist the help of a third party. Even though the external development team that Level 5 enlisted did not have enough people to develop something on the scale of Inazuma 11, they accepted the task anyway. Level 5 tried to rebuild the game by adding a large number of its own staff to the project, and since the company realized that a good product could not be made with this development system, they teamed up with a new company and are working on it as a new project. Imagine hiring an external studio to help you make your game, and that studio accepts the job, and at the end of the day, you find out that they weren't capable of doing it. As a response, you hire more people for your own team, and it just doesn't work out great. So you have to search for another company to then just kind of remake the project, have to rebuild the whole thing. Delaying the game was certainly the right thing to do, but in the meantime, they just keep spending money on this project, and sooner or later, they're gonna have to ship something or just take a big loss. It does not bode well for Level 5, and obviously I hope they can pull it off. But at this point, even the name of the game is up in the air. It was initially going to be Inazuma 11 Ares no Tenbin. Obviously that's the Japanese title, but now even the Ares part of the title might change. So where am I going with this exactly? Well, Level 5 is an experienced developer. My most recent experience with a Level 5 game was Ni no Kuni 2, which is a great game. But even if we don't look at that, with Inazuma 11 alone, they've been making these games for over 10 years. They've made more than 10 of these games for the 3DS and the Nintendo Wii, from a handheld console to a home game. And all of them share this formula of splitting the action between playing on the field and playing outside the field. They know what they're doing because they've been doing this for over 10 years. That said, they're also working with new hardware. This is their first time on Switch, even though they've been developing for Nintendo platforms during all this time. And it's also their first ever title on a PlayStation. At the same time, they're also developing a mobile version of the game, and it just seems like a crazy endeavor. given the troubles that they've run into over the past year. So far, the game has had a couple of trailers and a playable demo at Japanese events, and the game never ran particularly well. There are always clunky moments with frame drops or awkward transitions when the game fades to black in places where it really shouldn't, and that's always a bad sign. Optimization is one of the last steps of game development, but when you put out a demo, you show the best that your game has to offer, and right now, the best is looking a bit rough. So even though they have all of this experience with the franchise, when you take into account how troubled the development has been and how rough the game has shown, you start to wonder, why do we have so much football gameplay and practically nothing outside the field? Is it because they have nothing to show? Because it's not ready? Or simply because the football stuff is more exciting, so that's what they choose to show? Worst case scenario, it's because there isn't much of it, or what there is pretty bad. This video was sponsored by Almost Oliver. Almost Oliver is a Godbush on Patreon, and as a Godbush, he gets to request a video every month. If you'd like to support what I do on this channel, consider becoming a premium bush. As a thank you, we have exclusive live streams. Currently, we are streaming Hotborn, where we play Bloodborne, but every time we die, we eat a hot pepper. There are also tournaments every Saturday for different anime games, so join. It's a fun time, and you're helping me make these videos. But with Inazuma 11, I would say this is now a wait-and-see approach, which is true for most games. You should always wait for reviews before buying any game whatsoever. But with this one in particular, there are enough signs that could point to Doom. No, not that Doom. The bad kind of Doom.
Oh, there's something behind me, isn't there?
That kind of Doom. So where do you stand on Inazuma 11? Are you hyped? Are you worried? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But as always, thank you very much for watching. My name is Globku, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.